lovely viewers, welcome again to Mathematics and I. It is your favorite presenter, Jeff Naino, and today we are treating the topic, angles of depression. Now, if you have been with us in our previous classes, you would see that we started with the topic, angles of elevation, and then we did some examples, and today we are starting the topic, angles of depression. Now, what is the best way to explain the word angles of depression? Now, I will use a diagram to explain this so that you get a better understanding about this. Now, let us assume that this is the height of a pole, right? H, the height of the pole, and this is an observer, okay? This is an observer on top of the pole, and the observer tries to observe, let's say, a lizard. At the ground level, on the same horizontal level with the foot of the pole. Now, the pole has two sides, two ends, the foot and the top. And then you would understand that the observer is not at the foot, rather the observer is at the top of the pole. And then the observer is at the top of the pole and then observes a lizard on the same horizontal level with the foot of the pole. Now, because the observer looks down, because this originally is the eye level of the observer, if he should look straight forward, this should be the eye level. But for the observer to be able to look at this lizard, on the ground, it has to, change its eye view downward. Now, he moves the eye view, which is the sight view, downward in order for him to see the lizard. Now, at this point, what happens is this. There's an angle formed here when he should lift his eyes from this point down to this place. Now, this angle formed here is called the angle of depression. Now, it simply means that angles of depression are formed when an observer looks down to an object, not up. Now, when an observer should look up to an object, angles of elevation is formed. Now, at this point, this is our angle of depression. But you would notice that the angle of depression at this point is formed outside the right angle triangle. So what do? In order for me to bring angle theta, which is the angle of depression, into this right angle triangle, I will obey the rule of alternate angles. Alternate angles are equal to each other. So it means if here is angle theta, it simply means here is also angle theta. So it simply means that if I have something like this, and I say here is angle 30 degrees, and I said here is x, it simply means x is also equal to 30 degrees, because why? Alternate angles are equal to each other. So this is exactly how angles of depressions are formed. The observer is up, trying to observe an object down, and then angles of depressions are formed. Now, in this class, we are going to be looking at two examples. And with these two examples, you will be able to understand better how problems are solved, given angles of what? Depression questions. All right, before we begin the class, if you know this is your first time joining us, you are welcome to the channel. But there's only one thing you do in order to keep up with our classes. First of all, you have to subscribe. Secondly, you have to put on your notification button so that whenever we give a video, you will be among the first to be notified. And then try to follow our classes. Now, the first question we have for today says, from the top of a tower, a boy observed a stone on the ground. From the top of a tower. That simply means this is an angle of depression question. Because why? The boy is on top and then he observes a stone down. You can't observe a stone up. Down. Are we there? Now, observe a stone on the ground at the same horizontal level as the foot of the tower at an angle of depression of 55 degrees. If the stone is 44 meters away from the foot of the tower, right now we already know what the top of the tower means and what the foot of the tower means. Calculate to the nearest meter the height of the tower. Good. Now the first thing is for you to read, and the second thing is for you to understand what you have read. Now that we've been able to read out the question, how can we bring out this question in a diagram pattern? Let's bring it out. Now, let us assume that this is the height of the tower, and the boy is on top of the tower, and then observes a stone at an angle of depression. Now, don't forget we said if the boy is here, this should be the normal eyesight, and we were given that the angle of depression was 55 degrees. Now, how do we get angle here? We said alternate angles are equal. So if here is 55 degrees, it means here is also 55 degrees. Are we there? Now, this is angle 90. And then, let us proceed. We were told that we should calculate the nearest meter, the height. Now, if this is the height of the tower, we will say let's here be x meter, because we don't know. That is what it said we should calculate for. And then also, we were given also if the stone is 44 meters away from the foot of the tower. We all know this is the stone, this is the foot of the tower, and this is the top of the tower. We were told now that if the stone is 44 meters away from the foot of the tower, it means here is 44 meters. Now, my first question is, why did I not use my hypotenuse as our 44 meter? It is very simple. Because we were not told that if the distance between the stone and the top of the tower, if they mention the top of the tower and not the foot, here would have been our 44 meters. Are you with me now? So now that we have been able to bring it out, let us see how we can solve for x, which is actually our height of the tower. Okay, now without wasting time, let us proceed. Here, this is our hypotenuse. Okay, this is our opposite. And lastly, this is our adjacent. All right, now you would notice that in line hypotenuse, there was nothing on it. In opposite, we have x meters, and in our adjacent, we have 44 meters. So what we are going to do is this. Using the trigonometry ratios, which are so, car, toi, you will make use of the one which does not have hypotenuse, because in the diagram there is nothing on the hypotenuse, and that is toi. Because why? So has hypotenuse, car has hypotenuse, but toi does not have hypotenuse. Are you with me? So without wasting time, it means that we are going to be using toi, which says tan theta is equal to opposite over adjacent. So here becomes tan theta is equal to opposite, which is O, over adjacent, which is A. All right. Now, don't forget that theta is simply the angle of depression, and the angle of depression given is 55 degrees. So here becomes tan 55 degrees is equal to, now the opposite here is x, and our adjacent now is 44. All right. Now, without wasting time, in order for us to solve for x, it means x has to be the subject of the formula. So for us to make x stand alone, let us cross multiply first. If we should base tan 55 over 1, and then we cross multiply, x multiplied by 1 gives us x, and tan 55 degree multiplied by 44 gives us 44 tan 55 degrees. All right. And now, without wasting time, you will see now that we have this. Tan 55 degree 44 simply means 44 times tan 55 degrees. Now, without wasting time, 44 multiplied by tan 55 degrees gives us 62.838. X is equal to 62.838. But don't forget, the question said we should calculate the nearest meters. Now, nearest meter simply means eliminating the decimal part of the answer. And if we want to eliminate the decimal part of the answer, it means our answer needs to be in whole number. Now, the first number after the decimal point is 8. Now, because this is great, it is 5 and above, we are going to take it as 1 and approximate. Now, if 8 becomes 1 and we add it to 62, it becomes 63. So it means our answer becomes 63 meters to the nearest what? Meters, without decimals. So this becomes the height of the tower, 63 meters. So you see how we could solve this question simply applying the what? Special trigonometry what? Ratios. It is as simple as that. In this case, we cannot apply Pythagoras theorem because why? When you want to apply Pythagoras theorem, two sides of the right angle triangle must be given, and then you'll be told to find the last side. But here, only one side was given. Here is x, and nothing was here. And so there is no way you can apply Pythagoras theorem. Now, without wasting time, let us go to question number 2. Okay? Question number 2. All right. Okay, question number 2 says, the angle of depression of the top of a tower from a pilot is 35 degrees. If the plane is 150 kilometers above the ground level and 260 kilometers from the tower, what is the height of the tower? Now, let us see something here. Here, we were told that the distance between the pilot and the ground level was 150 kilometers. Now, let us say this is the height. Okay? And then we were told it was 150 kilometers. All right. Now, don't forget that if this point to this point, if this point is the ground level, there was a tower. Now, let us assume the tower was from here. Now, it means from here to here, from the top of the tower to this point in the ground level is 150 kilometers. But from the top of the tower, now this place, now from this point to this point, we don't know, which is the height of the tower. We don't know. And that is what it said we should calculate for. Let us assume that here is y kilometers. Okay, now if we want to do that, let us see what we're going to get. We were also told that if the plane is 150 kilometers above the ground level and 260 kilometers from the tower, 260 kilometers from the tower, now this is where the plane is, on top. Now, 260 kilometers from the tower simply refers to as the hypotenuse. 260 kilometers. You understand? From the tower, because this is the tower. Now, this is our angle 90. And then what was the angle of depression given? The angle of depression given was 35 degrees. 35 degrees. Now, if here is 35 degrees, here also becomes 35 degrees. Alternate angles are equal. Don't forget that. Now, let us see how we can calculate for the height of the tower. Now, don't forget that if here is y kilometer, here is also y kilometer. Because if you see, this side here, the height here is also equal to the height here. No one is longer than each other. Now, how can we get this? How can we solve for this? Now, don't forget that in order to make this math much more clearer, let us label. This is point A, this is point B, this is point C, this is point D, and this is point E. Now, from this illustration, line BD is equal to line CE. All right, which is equal to y kilometers. Are you there? But now, line AD is the total distance from the pilot, from the ground level and the pilot, the total distance. Now, line AD is equal to line AB plus line BD. Are you with me? Yes. So now, it means, look at what they say we should calculate for now, BD. Now, if line AD is 150 kilometers, we don't know what line AB is, which is from this point to this point. So what I'm going to do first is this. I'm going to calculate for line AB, and then I will be able to get line BD. Without wasting time, let's bring it out. Bringing this diagram out, which is like this. Okay, we have this. We have this. We have this. Now we have original eye level. Angle 90. We have A, B, and C. Now we have here 35 degrees. And then here we have, now let us say here is X kilometer. Now the reason why I use X is because I don't know line AB. I don't know this. So now, in order for me to be able to solve this, we have the hypotenuse to be 260 kilometers. Again, so catois, we are going to apply this. Now, here, this is the opposite. This is the hypotenuse. And this is the adjacent. Now, you will also see that in this right angle triangle, the side that has nothing on it is the adjacent. The opposite has x, the hypotenuse has 260, but the adjacent has nothing. So you come so catois, check which does not carry adjacent at all, and that is so. Because why? Car has adjacent and toi has adjacent. Now, so, which simply means sine theta is equal to opposite of our hypotenuse, is what we are going to be using to solve the problem. Now, here becomes sine theta is equal to O simply means opposite over H simply means hypotenuse. Are you with me? All right. Now, let us substitute. Theta is the angle of depression, which is 35 degrees. So here becomes sine 35 degrees is equal to, now opposite is x over hypotenuse is 260. All right. Now, without wasting time, base sine 35 degrees over 1 and cross multiply. Now, x multiplied by 1 gives us x, and sine 35 degrees multiplied by 260 still gives us 260 sine 35 degrees. So, we are going to multiply 260 times sine 35 degrees. And if we do that, we're going to get this, okay? 260 multiplied by sine 35 degrees. That gives us 149. X is equal to 149.129. Now, if you approximate 9 to 2, it becomes 13.13 kilometers. If we want to work with 2 decimal places. Now, x now is 149.13 kilometers. And don't forget, x is line AB. And this is line AB. Now, from this point, which says line AD is equal to line AB plus line BD. It simply means, now line AD is 150 kilometers, the total what? Height. 150 is equal to, now line AB now is x. And what is x? 149.13. So here becomes 149.13 plus, now what's our BD? BD here is y plus y. Right. Now, if we want to get y, it means we have to collect like terms. Now, when 149.13 crosses to the left-hand side of the equation, it becomes 150 minus 149.13 is equal to, what do we have left here now? Y. We collected like terms. So, now, without wasting time, when you subtract 150 minus 149.13, you are going to get, okay, I'm coming please, 150 minus 149.13. We are going to get y as 0.87 kilometers. Now, the height of the tower, which is BD, is equal to 0.87 kilometers. So this is how you can solve problems on angles of depression with ease. If you are able to understand the question, interpret the question, bring it out in diagram format, then you are good to go. So class, we have come to the end of today's teaching, and I hope you've learned something new. Okay, to understand more, keep on with our videos. When you don't understand, try to ask questions. Leave a question in the comment section, and then we will try our best to get back to you. Again, if this is your first time joining us, please don't forget to subscribe, and also follow us on Facebook, Mathematics Booster, on TikTok, Math Not Hot, and then you will see how changes will occur in your life mathematically. Bye for now, and thanks for watching.